So according to ancient myth, what the founders feared most was the power and might of the British Army and Navy. And certainly they did fear those. But in fact, if you look carefully at the historical records, if you try to do some analysis of what caused them greatest fear, what you find is they felt if they could remain united, they actually would have no problem ultimately achieving independence from Britain. What they feared most was disunion among themselves, leading to civil wars. So the three-step process that they feared is there would be a conflict in the Congress of some type so great that it would lead one and then more of the states or colonies, depending on the time period, to withdraw or secede from the Congress. What would come next? They knew what would come next. They would form separate confederations. And in fact, it is my belief that that is what they would have done if they could have after the revolution. They would have broken apart into 2 or 3 separate confederations. The reason they didn't, because they had these homogeneous regional areas, New England, the middle colonies in the South that had much more in common. But the reason they didn't is they believed they would fall into civil wars. They couldn't peacefully coexist as separate confederations or separate nations. They feared they would fall into conflict over commerce, over rivers, control of rivers, over the debt and finances of the Continental Congress and the Continental Army. Various states believed they had paid in too much, so that was a fight over money. But most of all, they worried that they would fall into civil war over the Trans-Appalachian lands. They intended to achieve these lands as part of the American Revolution, as part of the War of Independence. And what you find across the Appalachian Mountains is very little settlement at this time, but a landmass of great wealth and great opportunity and great hope with poorly defined boundaries. Many, particularly of the southern states, had founding documents which gave them access all the way to the Mississippi River. So this was their greatest area of fear. What do human beings fight most about? Land. And that was their fear at that time. So the other ancient myth, which I alluded to earlier, is that the Articles of Confederation was this sloppy constitution thrown together in a hurry during the American Revolution that caused more problems than it actually solved.